Hello, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com, and today I'm talking about quantum jumping, the law of attraction, and manifesting. And these subjects came to my attention this last month when a reader posted a comment on my blog commenting that they had recently noticed a great deal more historical information suddenly existed that looked like it had been there quite a long time about quantum jumping and about reality shifting and all of these kind of things that I love talking about. And the person who raised that question also was looking at the fact that this is a whole new way of really appreciating this concept of moving between parallel worlds of possibility. Because when manifesting, and there's a different mindset that tends to be in most people's heads when they're doing law of attraction kind of work. You can get reality shifts either way, either with law of attraction manifesting or with quantum jumping. The difference really boils down for me to how you identify with yourself and whether you consider yourself to be consciousness, which is that pure energy state, very similar or slightly analogous to a quantum particle. When it's not in a material particle form, then it exists in the state of pure energy. Or whether you want to mostly identify with being your physical self. Now, we are used to identifying with our physical selves, and so that's the more typical, common point of view. However, in my book, Reality Shifts, When Consciousness Changes the Physical World, I've got chapters on the subject of lucid dreaming. And the reason that I devote so much attention to the topic of lucid dreaming in particular is because that is a very powerful tool and a means by which you can become aware of your identity existing in a state other than your physical corporeal self that you tend to identify with, perhaps. So that lucid dreaming awareness is one of waking up within a dream, recognizing that you are awake in that dream, and ideally then coming into your regular daily life and recognizing, wow, this is a dream too. And what happens when you start identifying with pure consciousness is that you can ask that question I love so much, how good can it get? And you can be transported to new realities that you never, ever would have guessed existed, including entirely different alternate histories that you hadn't previously been aware of, that in this case might support your interest in quantum jumping. So this is something I'd like you to think about. And if you are interested both in law of attraction and manifesting and quantum jumping, then I'd like you to keep in mind that when you're noticing what I call reality shifts, which are things appearing, disappearing, transforming, transporting, changes in the way we experience time, including synchronicities, spontaneous remission of disease, coincidence, and pretty much anything that you can't really explain how that happened according to any physical, classical explanations, you pretty much need to go into the realm of quantum physics, in which case all of these reality shifts on the macroscopic scale start making sense. You would expect to see quantum tunneling, superposition of states, entanglement, all of these things that we do witness on the quantum scale, which we are starting to experience in the laboratory settings right now, thanks to this being the dawn of the quantum age, when scientists are rushing forward to develop quantum computers. So as the technology moves forward, thank goodness for that, because now we're seeing absolutely we have squids, which are superconducting quantum interference devices that prove without a shadow of a doubt that we can have a superposition of states on a scale that can sit in a room or sit on our desk eventually and enable us to calculate solutions to problems that computers have never so far been able to solve. Things like the traveling salesman problem, weather forecasting, and some of the most natural kind of systems that we really need solutions for. And those of you that follow my videos know that I've been reporting how in the realm of quantum biology, scientists are noticing that our plants, our animals, and even ourselves contain a lot of these quantum processes which we depend on for our very existence. So now, getting back into this whole question of manifesting, quantum jumping, what's the difference? Big difference is, in a nutshell, if you are just thinking of manifesting and changing your energy, changing your vibration, so what you attract will come to you, that's very much a physical, embodied state of awareness. What I'm recommending, like in my book, Reality Shifts When Consciousness Changes the Physical World, instead, is an approach of becoming, identifying with that state of being pure consciousness. From that vantage point, you are able to experience wonderful shifts in reality and ask that question that I love so much, how good can it get? And start finding out based on amazing, wonderful reality shifts happening for you. Until next time, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with realityshifters.com. Thanks a lot.